For as long as people have existed, stories have been the thread that connects one generation to the next. Before books and newspapers, our ancestors passed knowledge through oral tradition. Families sat together and listened to tales about survival, love, hardship, and triumph. These stories were more than words. They were the heartbeat of culture and identity. Today, that same tradition continues, but with new tools at our disposal. Digital storytelling allows us to preserve those same powerful narratives in ways that can last forever. Unlike the fragile letters or fading photographs of the past, digital stories can be captured and saved across multiple formats: video, audio, or even simple written text stored in the cloud. This means the story of your life, your childhood memories, or the lessons you've learned are not bound to paper that can yellow or deteriorate. They can live on in high definition, ready to be revisited by your children, grandchildren, and even great-grandchildren who may never get the chance to meet you in person. One of the greatest strengths of digital storytelling is accessibility. Anyone with a smartphone, a computer, or even just a simple audio recorder can begin capturing life's most meaningful moments. You don't need to be a professional filmmaker or writer. What matters is the voice behind the story, the laughter, the pauses, the wisdom hidden in everyday experiences. A grandparent sharing a memory of their first job or the way they fell in love becomes a priceless treasure when recorded and preserved digitally. Digital storytelling also has the power to bring people closer together. Families who may live far apart can still feel connected through shared digital albums, recorded conversations, or video memoirs. A granddaughter in another state or even another country can press play and hear her grandmother's voice offering life advice. That sense of connection, even across distance, is one of the most beautiful gifts technology has given us. In addition, storytelling in digital form allows us to capture not just the facts of our lives, but the emotions and personalities that come with them. A diary tells us what happened, but a video clip shows the sparkle in someone's eyes when they describe it. Audio recordings capture the tone of voice that a photograph could never reveal. These details make the story real and alive, ensuring that future generations will not only know about us but feel as if they are meeting us. Another important aspect of digital storytelling is that it empowers seniors to leave behind something meaningful. Many older adults worry about being forgotten or feel their lives have become ordinary compared to the fast-moving modern world. Yet every story, no matter how small it may seem, carries wisdom. A story about how you learned patience while raising children, or how you survived difficult times, might be exactly the encouragement someone in your family needs decades from now. Digital storytelling also offers healing. For many people, sharing their life journey becomes a way to reflect, to make peace with regrets, or to celebrate victories. Speaking or writing out your story can bring clarity, joy, and even closure. It turns memories into something purposeful. Instead of fading away, they become lessons, laughter, and love passed on to others. Finally, the power of digital storytelling lies in its timelessness. Generations from now, long after we are gone, a teenager may stumble upon a digital recording and hear the voice of their ancestors speaking directly to them. That moment of connection across time is extraordinary. It proves that while our bodies may age and our years may pass, the essence of who we are, our voices, our experiences, and our wisdom, can endure through the gift of storytelling preserved digitally. Every life holds a story worth telling. For many of us, it may feel like our daily routines or personal journeys are ordinary, but in truth, they are extraordinary when viewed through the eyes of future generations. The challenges we overcame, the values we upheld, and the dreams we pursued are not just part of our personal history, they are part of our family's foundation. Preserving stories matters because it ensures that this foundation is not lost to time but instead continues to support and inspire those who come after us. Stories give younger generations a sense of identity. When a child hears about where their grandparents came from, what their family endured, and how love carried them through difficult times, they gain a stronger sense of who they are. They begin to see themselves not as isolated individuals, but as part of a larger chain of history. This understanding brings comfort, pride, and belonging, which are things every person needs to carry forward in life. Without preserved stories, entire chapters of family history risk being forgotten. Think of how many tales from your grandparents or great-grandparents may have already been lost simply because no one wrote them down or recorded them. Imagine if their voices, their laughter, their life lessons had been saved for us to revisit today, how much richer our sense of self would be. By taking the time to capture our own stories now, we prevent that kind of loss for future generations. Another reason preserving stories is so important is that it passes down wisdom. Life is full of trials, and every challenge teaches us something valuable. Whether it's learning patience during hard times, finding strength through illness, or discovering joy in simple things, these lessons can guide younger family members in ways that no textbook ever could. A grandparent's story about perseverance may inspire a grandchild to push through their own struggles decades later. Preserved stories also teach empathy. When younger generations hear about the hardships of their ancestors, whether it was working long hours to support a family, facing discrimination, or starting life over in a new country, they gain perspective. They realize the privileges they enjoy today were built on the sacrifices of those before them. This understanding fosters gratitude and respect across generations. There is also an emotional healing aspect. For elders, telling stories provides a way to reflect and make sense of life's journey. It allows them to celebrate achievements and acknowledge regrets in a constructive way. For families, hearing these stories can bring healing too, sometimes resolving old misunderstandings or building deeper appreciation for a loved one's journey. In today's fast-paced world, preserving stories also combats the fleeting nature of memory. Social media posts disappear, conversations get forgotten, but a well-recorded story remains. By creating a digital archive of our lives, we carve out permanence in a world that often feels temporary. It becomes a treasure chest of memories that families can revisit again and again. Most importantly, preserving stories is an act of love. It is a gift we give to people we may never meet but who will one day wonder about us. Just as we sometimes long to know more about our ancestors, someone in the future will long to know about us. By leaving behind our stories, we ensure they will not have to wonder. They will hear our voices, see our expressions, and feel our presence through the legacy we cared enough to preserve. When people first hear the phrase digital storytelling, they often imagine complicated equipment, expensive cameras, or advanced computer programs. But the truth is far simpler. You don't need to be a filmmaker or a technical expert to begin. In fact, most of the tools you need are already in your pocket. A smartphone, tablet, or basic laptop can be enough to record memories and preserve them for years to come. The beauty of digital storytelling lies not in the technology itself, but in the voice and the heart behind it. A smartphone is perhaps the most powerful tool for beginners. Almost every modern phone has a built-in camera and microphone that can capture both video and audio in excellent quality. Whether you choose to sit by a window and talk about your childhood or record a family gathering, the simplicity of pressing the record button makes it accessible to anyone. Once saved, these recordings can be easily shared with loved ones through email, messaging apps, or cloud services. For those who prefer the written word, typing stories on a computer or even a tablet is just as effective. Programs like Microsoft Word, Google Docs, or even a simple notes app can serve as a personal memoir journal. These stories can be organized by themes, childhood, career, love, travel, or written as reflections that come to mind day by day. Later, they can be compiled into a family ebook or printed into a keepsake. Audio recordings are another excellent starting point, especially for people who may feel shy in front of a camera. Apps such as voice memos on iPhone or free programs like Audacity on a computer allow you to record your voice as you speak naturally. Sharing a bedtime story, a favorite poem, or a memory of a special day in your own voice creates a deeply personal legacy. Years from now, hearing your laughter or the tone of your voice will mean the world to your loved ones. If you are open to adding a bit of creativity, there are user-friendly apps like iMovie, Windows Photos, or Canva that let you combine photos, short video clips, and music into simple family documentaries. These tools are designed for beginners and often come with templates, making it easy to create something meaningful without hours of editing. A short video with old photos and narration can transform a simple story into a family treasure. Cloud storage is another essential tool for digital storytelling. Services like Google Drive, Dropbox, or iCloud allow you to save and protect your stories so they aren't lost if your device breaks or your files get deleted. They also make sharing easier. Your family members can access these digital treasures from anywhere in the world. This ensures that your legacy is safe and can be enjoyed for generations. Even social media can play a role. Platforms like Facebook or private family groups on WhatsApp or Messenger allow you to share memories in real time. While these may feel less permanent, they can spark conversations and connections with family members who may never have heard your stories otherwise. The key is to find the platform that feels most comfortable for you. Ultimately, the tools you choose are less important than the act of starting. Many people delay recording their stories because they think they need the perfect setup. But perfection is not the goal, authenticity is. A simple video taken in your living room or a voice note recorded on a quiet afternoon carries more meaning than a highly polished production. What matters most is that you take the first step, using whatever tools you have, to capture your life story before it slips away. There is something magical about hearing a loved one's voice. Long after a person has passed away, their voice can bring back vivid memories in a way that photos or letters cannot. The warmth in their laughter, the pauses between their words, even the way they pronounce certain phrases, all of these details carry personality and emotion. That is why audio memories are so powerful. They allow future generations to hear you, not just read about you, and that simple act of listening creates an intimate connection that can last forever. Audio recordings are also one of the easiest ways to begin digital storytelling. Most smartphones already have a built-in recording app, meaning you can start today without buying any extra equipment. Simply open the app, press record, and speak. You don't need a script or a polished performance. Just talk as if you were having a conversation with your children or grandchildren. Your natural tone, your stories, and even your small tangents will make the recording feel genuine and alive. For many people, speaking is less intimidating than being on camera. Some may feel shy about their appearance or uncomfortable with video technology, but recording audio feels private and effortless. You can do it in your own time, in the comfort of your favorite chair, with no pressure of lighting or background. This makes audio storytelling especially approachable for seniors who want to preserve memories without the stress of learning complicated tools. The types of audio memories you can create are endless. You might record a story from your childhood, the history of how you met your spouse, or the traditions you grew up with. You can share recipes while describing the smell of your mother's kitchen, or recall the songs you loved as a teenager. Even reading a favorite book or poem in your own voice becomes a memory worth saving. These recordings don't just preserve facts, they preserve feelings. One unique advantage of audio memories is that they capture emotion in a raw, unfiltered way. A story told in writing may explain an event, but hearing the trembling in someone's voice when they talk about a difficult time, or the joy when they remember a happy moment, makes the story real. These emotional cues allow listeners to connect with the storyteller on a deeper level, creating empathy and understanding across generations. Another wonderful idea is to involve family in the process. You can record conversations with children or grandchildren, asking them questions and answering theirs. These recordings become dialogues, not just monologues, and they preserve the bond between generations. Imagine a child listening decades later to a recording of themselves as a little one asking their grandfather about his first job. That memory becomes priceless. Storing and sharing audio recordings is easier than ever. They can be saved to cloud services, emailed to relatives, or even turned into digital albums. Some families create audio libraries, where each member records stories or reflections over the years. This collection becomes a family time capsule, available to anyone who wants to listen and remember. In the end, audio memories remind us that our voices carry more than sound. They carry love, personality, and legacy. Long after we are gone, our families will not just remember what we looked like, but how we sounded, how we laughed, and how we spoke from the heart. That is the beauty of audio storytelling. It turns fleeting conversations into timeless treasures that will be cherished for generations. Video is one of the most powerful tools we have for storytelling because it captures not just words, but also expressions, gestures, and surroundings. While an audio recording can preserve the sound of your voice, a video allows future generations to see how your eyes light up when you talk about a joyful memory, or how your hands move when you explain something important. These small details breathe life into a story and make it feel as though you are sitting right there with the person watching, even years or decades later. One of the great advantages of video is that it doesn't need to be complicated. Today's smartphones and tablets come with high-quality cameras that are more than enough to capture your memories. You don't need professional lighting or editing skills. What matters most is authenticity. A simple recording of you sitting in your favorite chair, speaking about your life, can be more meaningful than any polished production. What your family will treasure most is seeing you as you truly are. Video storytelling can take many forms. Some people prefer to record short clips of daily reflections, where they share a memory, a lesson, or even a funny story each day. Others may choose to sit down and film longer interviews, either with a family member asking questions or simply speaking directly to the camera. You could even create video letters to your children or grandchildren, leaving messages of encouragement or advice for them to watch in the future. Combining old photographs and home videos with your storytelling is another wonderful way to enhance your digital legacy. Many simple editing programs like iMovie, Windows Photos, or Canva allow you to overlay your voice over a slideshow of images. This transforms static pictures into living stories, where each photo carries deeper meaning because it is explained in your own words. It becomes less about looking at old images and more about experiencing the story behind them. One unique power of video is how it captures emotion in real time. Tears, laughter, pauses, and smiles all come through on screen in ways no other medium can replicate. These visual cues help future generations feel closer to you, almost as if they were in the room listening. Even decades later, your great-grandchild could watch you laugh at a funny story or lean in to share a piece of advice, and in that moment they would feel your presence. Recording videos can also be a wonderful group activity. Invite family members to sit down and join you in telling stories. You might film a conversation with your siblings as you recall childhood memories, or ask your grandchildren to interview you about your life. These shared experiences not only preserve the stories but also strengthen family bonds in the process. They become memories within memories, moments that will be cherished by everyone involved. Videos also allow you to show, not just tell. If you love cooking, film yourself preparing a favorite family recipe while explaining its history. If you enjoy gardening, take a short video tour of your plants while sharing tips and memories. These visual demonstrations turn ordinary activities into living lessons, giving your family something they can continue to learn from even after you are gone. Most importantly, video storytelling ensures that your personality shines through. It's not just about preserving information, it's about preserving you. The way you smile, the way you speak, the way you move, all of these are uniquely yours. A video captures that essence, freezing a moment in time that can be revisited again and again. Long after your voice has faded from daily life, your family will still be able to see you, hear you, and feel your love through the videos you leave behind. While video and audio capture the sound and movement of life, writing remains one of the most timeless ways to preserve a story. For centuries, journals, letters, and books have carried the voices of people long gone, allowing us to step into their world through words. Writing your legacy is not about being a professional author. It is about putting your thoughts, memories, and lessons into words that can be kept, shared, and passed on. Each written piece becomes a piece of your heart preserved on paper or in digital form. One of the greatest advantages of writing is reflection. Unlike speaking, which flows in the moment, writing gives you the chance to pause, think, and choose the words that best express what you want to say. This process often brings clarity and meaning to your experiences. When you write about your childhood, your career, or your family life, you may find yourself rediscovering forgotten details or realizing new lessons hidden in old memories. Writing also allows you to organize your story in a way that makes sense for future readers. You can arrange it chronologically, beginning with your earliest memories and moving through your life step by step. Or you can choose themes such as love, challenges, or family traditions, and write stories that fit into each category. This structure makes your legacy easier for your children and grandchildren to follow, and it ensures that no important part of your journey is overlooked. Another beauty of writing is that it can be done anywhere at any time. A notebook, a computer, or even the Notes app on a smartphone is enough to begin. You don't need to worry about how you look on camera or how your voice sounds on a recording. Writing gives you privacy and freedom to express yourself honestly without pressure. This can be especially comforting for people who feel shy about other forms of storytelling. In today's digital age, there are also many ways to preserve written stories. You can type them into a word processor, share them with family through email, or store them in the cloud for safekeeping. Some people choose to create a family blog or even publish their writings as a personal memoir or ebook. With self-publishing tools more accessible than ever, leaving behind a written book of your life is no longer out of reach. Writing also allows you to pass on values, not just events. You can include reflections, advice, or life lessons within your stories. For example, a story about your first job could be paired with advice about perseverance. A memory about raising children could include your thoughts on patience or unconditional love. These written words of wisdom may one day guide your descendants through their own challenges, carrying your influence far into the future. Sharing your writing with family while you are still alive can be a powerful experience. Children and grandchildren often discover sides of you they never knew before, your struggles, your dreams, and your personal reflections. This opens the door to deeper conversations and connections. Sometimes, writing also helps explain choices or events that were misunderstood in the past, offering healing and reconciliation for the family. Ultimately, writing your legacy is an act of love and intention. It says, "I want you to know me not just as a name in a family tree, but as a person with thoughts, feelings, and dreams." Whether your writings are long or short, polished or simple, they carry your unique voice. And unlike spoken words that fade, written words endure, allowing your story to live on for generations to come. Photographs are often the windows to our past. A single picture has the power to transport us back to a moment we thought we had forgotten. The smell of the kitchen on a holiday morning, the sound of children playing in the yard, or the warmth of a family gathering. For many families, photos are the most treasured keepsakes because they capture not just faces, but emotions frozen in time. That is why preserving family photos is such an important part of digital storytelling. Old photo albums, while precious, are fragile. The pages can yellow, the ink can fade, and accidents like water damage or fire can cause them to be lost forever. By digitizing family photos, we protect them from these risks. Scanning pictures into a computer or even taking photos of them with a smartphone ensures they are backed up and preserved. Once digitized, they can be stored safely, shared with relatives, and enjoyed by future generations. One of the wonderful advantages of digital photos is the ability to add context. A picture may show smiling faces, but without a caption or explanation, the story behind it can be lost. By labeling photos with names, dates, and short notes, we give meaning to the images. For example, instead of just seeing a wedding photo, future generations will know whose wedding it was, the year it took place, and perhaps even a funny or heartfelt story from that day. Digital albums can also become family projects. You might invite children or grandchildren to help scan old photos, organize them into folders, or create online albums. Working together not only preserves the images but also creates new memories in the process. Younger family members often enjoy hearing the stories behind the pictures, and older family members feel valued when they get to share them. Technology today makes photo preservation easy and creative. Cloud services such as Google Photos, iCloud, or Dropbox can automatically store and organize pictures. There are also apps that allow you to create digital scrapbooks or slideshows, pairing photos with music or narration. These tools transform collections of pictures into living stories, turning static images into engaging family documentaries. Another meaningful idea is to create themed photo collections. For example, you could gather photos that show family traditions, holiday celebrations, or the growth of children over the years. These collections highlight patterns and stories within your family's history, helping future generations understand not only who you were but also what values your family cherished. Preserving family photos also strengthens the bond between past and present. Imagine a great-grandchild decades from now, looking at a photo of you as a child and seeing a reflection of themselves in your eyes. That connection across time is powerful. It gives younger generations a sense of continuity, showing them that they are part of something bigger than themselves. Most importantly, preserved photos become anchors for storytelling. Each image is an invitation to share the memory behind it, the laughter, the challenges, the love. When photos are preserved and paired with your voice or words, they become far more than just images. They become stories waiting to be told, ensuring that the faces and moments of today will never fade from the hearts of tomorrow. Storytelling is often thought of as a solitary act, one person sitting down to share their memories. But in truth, the most meaningful stories are those that involve others, especially family. When you invite your children, grandchildren, or even siblings to join you in the process of digital storytelling, it transforms the experience from a task into a bonding moment. It becomes less about recording memories and more about building connections across generations. Involving the family gives younger members a chance to ask questions. Children are naturally curious, and when they are given the opportunity to interview their grandparents, they often ask things adults would never think of. A simple question like, "What games did you play as a child?" or "What was school like when you were my age?" can open doors to stories that might otherwise remain untold. These interactions create laughter, learning, and shared discovery. For grandchildren or great-grandchildren, participating in the storytelling process makes history feel alive. Instead of reading about the past in a textbook, they hear it directly from someone they love. This personal connection makes the lessons more meaningful. They don't just learn that times were different, they feel it through the voice, emotions, and expressions of their family member. Technology also gives younger generations an important role to play. Many seniors feel uncertain about using smartphones, recording apps, or editing software. By inviting children or grandchildren to help with the technical side, both generations benefit. Younger family members gain a deeper appreciation for the stories being told, while older members feel supported and empowered rather than intimidated by technology. Involving the family also ensures that the storytelling process continues. When one person records stories alone, they may worry that no one will listen or that the memories will be lost. But when family members participate, they become invested in preserving and sharing those stories. They might even take on the role of organizing, editing, or archiving the recordings, guaranteeing that the legacy lives on. Group storytelling can be especially powerful. Imagine sitting around a table with your siblings, each sharing your version of a family event. Different perspectives often emerge, sometimes humorous, sometimes emotional, which make the story richer. These recordings capture not just one memory, but the voices of multiple people reflecting together. In future years, they will be cherished as a living portrait of family dynamics. Family involvement also brings joy to the process. Storytelling should never feel like a chore. When it becomes an activity shared with loved ones, it fills the room with laughter, conversation, and love. For younger family members, these moments may become some of their most treasured memories. Times when they sat down with a parent or grandparent and discovered the richness of their family history. Ultimately, involving the family in digital storytelling turns the act of preserving memories into a living legacy. It is not just about recording the past, it is about creating new moments of togetherness in the present. The process itself becomes part of the family story, showing future generations that storytelling was always a shared act of love, connection, and belonging. For many seniors, the idea of using new technology to record stories can feel intimidating. Smartphones, tablets, and computers may seem complicated at first glance, filled with buttons, apps, and menus that feel overwhelming. This fear is natural. After all, most of us grew up in a world where pen and paper were the main tools of communication. But the good news is that technology, once understood, becomes much simpler than it looks, and it can open the door to powerful new ways of preserving your memories. One of the first steps in overcoming fear is to shift perspective. Instead of thinking of technology as something foreign, think of it as a tool, much like a typewriter or a tape recorder. At its core, a smartphone is just a modern notebook with extra features. It allows you to write, record, and save. Recognizing it as an extension of the tools you've already used in your life makes the learning curve less intimidating. It also helps to start small. You don't need to learn everything at once or become an expert. Begin by learning just one simple task, such as recording your voice or taking a short video. Practice a few times until it feels comfortable. Once you've mastered one function, add another. Step by step, you will build confidence, and what once felt overwhelming will soon feel natural. Asking for help is another powerful way to ease the fear of technology. Children and grandchildren often pick up new tools quickly, and they usually enjoy teaching. Inviting them to guide you through the process not only helps you learn but also creates meaningful bonding moments. What may take you hours to figure out alone could take minutes with a patient guide at your side. And in the process, you're not just learning technology, you're creating new memories together. It is also important to remember that mistakes are part of the process. Accidentally deleting a file, pressing the wrong button, or struggling with an app does not mean failure. It means learning. Unlike in the past, most digital tools have safety features like undo buttons or automatic backups, so mistakes rarely cause permanent loss. With patience and persistence, every error becomes an opportunity to improve. Another way to build confidence is to use technology you already feel comfortable with. If you enjoy using your phone for calls, start with its voice recording app. If you already type on a computer, begin writing stories in a document. Expanding from familiar ground makes the process less intimidating. You don't need to jump straight into advanced editing or complicated apps. The simplest tools are often the best. It's also worth remembering that technology is designed to be user-friendly. Companies know that millions of people of all ages use their products, so they create apps and devices that are as simple as possible. Instructions are often just a few steps long, and there are countless tutorials available online. What may look complicated at first is often much easier once you try it with guidance. Most importantly, don't let fear stop you from sharing your story. Your voice, your memories, and your wisdom are too valuable to be silenced by hesitation. Technology is only a bridge, a way to carry your story into the future. Once you take the first step, you'll find that the process is not nearly as difficult as it seems, and the rewards, preserving your legacy for generations, are worth every moment of learning. At its heart, digital storytelling is about more than capturing your own memories. It's about leaving behind a legacy that extends far beyond your lifetime. When you take the time to record your stories, you are giving your family and future generations a gift they cannot buy anywhere else. You are offering them a piece of history, wrapped in your own voice, expressions, and experiences. This legacy becomes a treasure that carries your presence into the future. Many people think of a legacy as money, property, or possessions. But the truth is those things fade with time. What endures are the lessons, values, and stories we pass down. A grandchild may one day forget what inheritance they received, but they will never forget hearing their grandmother talk about the struggles she overcame, or their grandfather describing the joy of his first job. Stories live longer than objects, because they settle into the hearts of those who hear them. Leaving a legacy through storytelling also provides guidance for those who come after you. Life is full of challenges, and when your children or grandchildren face their own difficulties, your stories may become a source of strength. Knowing that you endured hardships, adapted to change, and still found joy gives them confidence that they can do the same. Your voice becomes a quiet companion, reminding them that resilience runs in their blood. This legacy also deepens family identity. Families with strong stories know where they come from, and this knowledge shapes their sense of belonging. Your grandchildren won't just see themselves as individuals, they will see themselves as part of a larger story, connected to you and to generations before. In times of uncertainty, that connection can be a powerful anchor. Technology ensures that this legacy can last longer than ever before. In the past, stories were often lost when they weren't written down or passed along. But today, digital storytelling makes it possible for your voice, photos, and even videos to be preserved indefinitely. A great-grandchild who has never met you in person may one day press play and hear your laughter, your wisdom, and your unique way of telling a story. The beauty of leaving such a legacy is that it continues to grow. Once your stories are preserved, future generations may add their own, building on the foundation you've created. What begins as your story becomes a family archive, weaving together voices from across time. You are not just leaving behind a piece of yourself, you are starting a tradition that can live on for centuries. Leaving a legacy beyond yourself also gives you peace of mind. As you reflect on your life, you can take comfort in knowing that nothing is wasted, and that every moment, both joyful and difficult, has meaning. By sharing your journey, you ensure that your struggles become lessons, your joys become celebrations, and your life continues to inspire even after you're gone. Most of all, digital storytelling reminds us that our lives matter. Each of us has walked a path unlike anyone else's, filled with unique experiences that no one else can duplicate. Preserving those experiences through stories is a way of saying, I was here and my life had value. That message, passed down through time, is the most powerful legacy anyone can leave behind.